Why did General Sibiya suddenly blame a school after being grilled by commissioners? Was it an honest explanation or a calculated deflection? As pressure mounted and tough questions closed in, he shifted responsibility in a move no one expected. But did that answer calm the room or raise even more suspicion? What unfolded next left the commission stunned.
General, please read paragraph 44 of your statement, the first sentence. The heading is the so-called Impala controversy. So you know you are dealing with Impala, and what you are being asked to address is the issue of Impala. Now read the first sentence of paragraph 44 of your statement.
Paragraph 44, I categorically deny that I acquired or received any Impala from Mr. Matlala, which is the fact.
No, finish the sentence, please.
Oh, he said the first sentence. That's why I was reading the first sentence.
No, but then you must get to the full stop, Chair.
Yes.
General, why do you stop at the comma?
Chair, I went to school under a tree. So you said the first sentence and I just went for the first sentence.
It ends at the full stop, not at the comma. That's my point.
Yeah, I know. I'm one of those who went under a tree at school.
Don't worry about that. Just please read it.
I categorically deny that I acquired or received any Impala from Mr. Matlala or from any other person for that matter.
Now, General, you see, you say you deny that you A, acquired, and then B, received. So you're saying you did not acquire any Impala from Mr. Matlala or any other person. So you even disqualifying your Zimbabwean friend who you say acquired for Impala for you. Because if you say you did not acquire an Impala from any person, then it means you didn't acquire an Impala even from your Zimbabwean friend.
To me, Chair, is where English comes in. Not hiding behind English, just to say from my side, in my mindset, I did not acquire from Mr. Matlala or any other person for that matter, not discounting the fact that what I'm saying from my own angle. I was just saying I did not acquire it from any other person giving to me.
Because you're saying two things here, General.
Yeah.
You're saying I did not acquire it from Matlala or any other person, and I did not receive it from Mr. Matlala or any other person. Now, what was so difficult for you to say, as at the period referred to, the controversial period, I already had 4 Impala in my property. I did not require any other Impala because I already had it. In your statement, you do not say anywhere that in March 2024, you had Impala in your property.
Chair, I wish you were there when, Commissioner Bali, I wish you were there when we were drafting, and then I could have actually put it that way.
I haven't acquired her surname.
No,
Not yet.
what I'm saying is that the way you put it so nicely, and I wish that this is what I had. Now, unfortunately for me, the mindset sometimes as we draft, I've seen instances where you draft like this, and then another council comes and says, but why don't you put it this way? So it's just, to me, a drafting approach from a particular drafter. So I'm just saying, I accept that maybe my weddings may be falling short somewhere, somehow, and or indirectly implying something that I didn't mean to imply.
Because, General, here is the problem. This section of your affidavit addresses the so-called Impala controversy. And you do it in 4 pages, from page 1, 2, 3, 3 pages. It's 4 actually. And nowhere in those 4 pages do you say, in March 2024, I owned Impala and I had them in my property. And that is a problem. Because you're only mentioning it now when you are shown the photos. And I specifically asked you a question. Are those animals that we see there, are they Impalas, yes or no? You said they are Impalas. But nowhere in your statement do you say, on the 27th of March, I owned Impalas and I had them in my property. And you have had General Sentumule's affidavit and the photos since Friday. So you've had the whole weekend to go through it. And at no stage in your affidavit do you say, The animals that are depicted in the annexures to General Sentumule's affidavit, I had them in my property in March 2024. Nowhere do you say that.
You see, Chair, sometimes when you are in a situation that I'm facing where you have to draft something and you craft something, and this thing is to be subjected to intense probing or cross-examination, other things begin to pop out that ask certain questions and that require specific questions or answers, that at that time when you were crafting, you craft and you say, all right, let me keep it short, let me not go too deep in 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of the questions you may have to respond to, you'll speak to them if asked. But now when you are sitting here, they ask a question and say, yeah, but why did you deliberately choose to ignore 1, 2, 3, 4, or specifically don't mention 1, 2, 3, 4? And of course, sometimes it might be a question of, said, no, don't put too much details. You will respond to it. Now, unfortunately, I'm being asked now, but why did you deliberately choose to omit 1, 2, 3? It does happen, commissioners, and not because of I'm being evasive.
Sure, thanks, General. I think the concern is that what you omit is not something small. The kind of evidence that you're now answering in response to questions are not issues that are peripheral. This section is called Impala controversy. You called it that in your statement. The reason it's a controversy is because it involves acquiring Impala from Mr. Matlala. Isn't that so? That's why it became controversial. I mean, if you had Impalas on your, as part of whatever it is, but not from people you shouldn't be getting gifts from, then it wouldn't be an issue, right? It's a controversy because of Mr. Matlala. Isn't that so?
Yes.
So there's another glaring omission from this section on the Impalas, and that is that you don't address, you've said to Commission now that you notice that Sergeant Nkosi says to you, from CAT, and you say that you took distance from it because, well, you said, as we said, two things. One is you said you don't want Impala, we've dealt with that now. The second was you took distance from that because you will not accept anything from a service provider, right? That's actually the heart of what this section is about. But you don't deal with it at all in your statement. Why did you not deal with it in the statement and only when it was put to you in questions?
Yes, in a situation like this, it is easy to ask such a question from where I'm sitting because I'm the one who's expected to explain. But if I'm allowed to give a different but similar and relevant example, I don't know if the chair is going to stop me from.
I don't know what the chair will say.
No,
but
I understand, but I want to give a similar.
Similar to what?
Example. And this thing, and I wish up until, I'm not going to say a long statement, I'm going to put one statement. If I'm allowed, Chair.
You see, the difficulty is I have no idea what you're going to talk about and to what extent, if at all, it relates to the question being asked. I
want to give a practical example of that it is possible. And not that you are hiding something, but it is doable.
Oh, all right, let's hear it.
When General Mkhwanazi testified here, he never made mention that he ever met Matlala in any way. When General Senona testified here, he says, I went with him there. Then General Mkhwanazi sent a message to Senona and say, you see now your client said is now exposing our meeting, and I never said this and this and that. What I'm just trying to say, that omission, at that point in time, maybe it was not necessary for him to say it, but I was just giving a similar type of approach and say, look, it does happen that it's not like my omission was deliberate. Sometimes it just never, at that point in time.
No, General. The difference is you say in your statement at paragraph 38, you say, over time the remaining antelope also died, save for one blessed bog which is still on the plot. That's what you say in your statement. So at that point, you did have the opportunity, because remember the preceding paragraphs, you're talking about escalating costs, you no longer have money, and so you cease dealing in antelopes and emus and blessed bog. That's the background to it. And then you say at 34, over time, the remaining died, save for one blessed bog, and then at a certain stage, it began to display unusual behavior, and then that's when now you introduce Sergeant Nkosi, you account for the exchanges with Sergeant Nkosi. What is being put to you is that, but the way you describe what happens to your animals over time, it's curious at best that you don't mention that when you were left with, as they were dying, you got your friend or your driver to get other animals, which you still had by the time you were communicating with Mr. Nkosi, with Sergeant Nkosi about getting your animals. You don't mention that. In fact, you create the impression, and I think that is the correct impression, that they had all died. And you were left with only one, and in March 2024, you were being offered, we'll call them antelopes because that's the language you are using. You were being offered impalas at that time.
Chair, I may have to revert to my notes as I drafted, as I was writing and sending to my counsel, and then she was drafting. So I just wanted to ascertain whether, didn't I really also indicate that I acquired some in between? Because, like I said, Chair, it was completed late last night to an extent that the other concern was you've got to sleep early because you've got a long day tomorrow, and the council also, when I called, she was already sleeping because she's been working hard on this document, and we met in the morning. Some of the greater or finer details could have been really fixed, and I know it's not the problem of the evidence leader nor the commission, but I take the blame, evidence leader.
General, thanks. I just want to say that what I was putting to you was not just the issue of the impalas and the missing information. It was also about not dealing with the Mr. Matlala, because why this is a controversy in the first place. So it's not the finer details that are missing. What you put on record more than once, including in your statement of 16 January, was that you categorically, and you're not tentative about your evidence, you say you categorically deny that you received anything from Mr. Matlala. So you say that in relation to the impalas, you say that no, it did not involve Mr. Matlala. Then we take you to the messages, and the messages show that in fact the arrangement was through Mr. Matlala, because it says from CAT. So then you say, well, yes, you realized that, and so your way of dealing with it was to say you're not going to accept delivery from a service provider. But then when you're taken to the evidence which shows that there was delivery and that there are impala on your property, coincidentally, after the date of delivery, as we see from the chats, then you say that the Zimbabwean gardener went and procured it for you. So that's what I am putting to you about the inconsistencies, and that the omissions that you are now filling in as we go along are not just the finer details. They actually goes to the heart of this issue of the Impala controversy. So do you understand where I'm coming from? These are very important facts that were omitted.
You went too long. Can you give me half of what you said so that I respond and go to the next one?
No, it's the whole picture.
No.
I can't give you half, because and that's why I laid it out from the beginning to say, this is what you said and then you changed. This is what you said and then you changed. So each time when you say, well, no, you didn't put it in your statement, it's an omission, it's a finer detail you could have. I'm saying to you those omissions, whether it's about the fact that you knew that Mr. Matlala was involved in this, or whether it was about the delivery of the Impalas, that they were on your property, that they died on the 27th of March. All of those things are important facts that you don't deal with except when you questioned on
One
it.
thing that I've categorically made clear is that I never asked Mr. Nkosi to approach Mr. Matlala. I didn't know who and how was Mr. Nkosi going to assist me in getting such. Secondly, I am categorically denying that I ever received any such delivery from Mr. Matlala's side or from Nkosi's side, because I didn't need them at that time. Now, I'm saying also that I am not saying what I'm saying because I'm being asked questions. I don't want to get or be pushed into a corner of saying, yeah, you knew it comes from Matlala. I had nothing that I've assisted Matlala with, nothing that I worked with him on, and he had no reason to give me anything because I have never assisted him. I don't think you would invest in a dead horse, because having to do with the tenders is supply chain, and I'm far from the supply chain, so I wouldn't be of any value to him. With regard to whatever that was happening in his investigations, it was being handled in the province. So I'm just saying, to me, I had no real-time dealings with Matlala that could lead me to interact in such a way that he can give me something. That's what I wanted to say.